I'm just gonna say it. We didn't lose our creativity by accident, it was just conditioned out of us. This isn't just my opinion, multiple studies suggest the same pattern. None of us noticed our imagination was being drained in the moment. Only years later we started asking ourselves, why is it so hard to think for myself? Why am I scared to be wrong? Why does starting something new feel impossible? If that sounds familiar, and it probably does because we all went to school, then you, my friend, are a victim of the system. A 2025 study published by the Greek Department of Early Childhood Education suggested that preschool classroom environments with a heavy teacher direction and influence limiting freedom in activity choices directly reduce young children's creative thinking, and that's even before the formal academic learning begins, like primary school and high school. Now you may be wondering how this relates to the statement in the thumbnail. Let me explain. Now even before you can read or write properly, you are slowly being conditioned to just accept what the person with the authority, in this case the teacher, tells you to do, and in which ways you can do it. Sounds pretty similar to 99% of workplaces, don't you think? Now on to this fear of failure that most adults suffer with. Studies in educational psychology show that schools often create what's called a performance goal structure. That means the focus is on getting the correct answer, avoiding mistakes, and most importantly, not looking incompetent. Research on achievement goal theory shows that when students are placed in situations where the goal is to not fail rather than to learn, they become less willing to take risks. And creativity requires risk. It involves trying ideas that might be wrong, experimenting, being uncertain, and failing publicly. But when mistakes are punished with grades, embarrassment, or comparison, students learn something very quickly. It's safer to stay inside the lines. Studies consistently find that fear of failure and performance avoidance goals are linked to lower creative output and lower willingness to explore new ideas. Now, I'm sure you resonated with that. The part about fear of failure, the part about being conditioned to stay inside the lines, and if you did, you probably know exactly what I mean when I say starting something new feels impossible. I certainly am familiar with this feeling. For example, this exact channel you're watching now. It took months of procrastinating and overthinking to actually start, and I know I'm not alone. It's no surprise when I tell you that this also stems from our upbringing in the modern school system. All of this conditioning, from preschool through to high school, builds a limited mindset where novelty feels dangerous. Your brain learns to stick to what's safe, to avoid taking risks, and to fear being wrong. So when you face a blank page, a new business idea, or any challenge that hasn't been fed to you on a golden spoon, it triggers that same old fear response. The result? Starting something new feels impossible. The good news? This isn't permanent. Understanding how you were conditioned is the first step to unlearning it. Creativity, curiosity, and the courage to start, they can all be rebuilt. Now we have discussed the causes, we can begin to understand ways to regain and spark our creativity once again. The thing that all humans were born with and what naturally feels good to do. The first step? Just start. It's really that simple. Pick something you're interested in. It could be music, creative writing, drawing, or even making YouTube videos. The most important thing is to take that leap and start before your brain subconsciously makes excuses, before it convinces you to stay comfortable and consume mindlessly. Once you have taken that leap, keep going. Creativity is like a muscle and needs to be exercised. The more you create, the more creative ideas will come to mind. Everyone is creative, just some people know how to unlock it and use it. Others, they stay in conformity, making excuses and staying comfortable. Don't be that person. Keep moving, keep creating, and your creativity will grow naturally. Often people have this problem. They feel like everything they create has to be monetized, optimized, or perfect. If you find yourself always thinking this way, it's time to reframe your mindset. Creativity thrives when it's free, not when it's weighed down by pressure to perform for profit. Sometimes, the thought of having the best idea or making as much money as possible can cripple you, completely blocking your creativity before it even begins. The key is to focus on the joy of creating first and let everything else follow naturally. But who am I anyway? Why take my advice? You may find yourself wondering. Well, let me tell you. My channel is called Pete Weast. That's not even my real name. It's just an inside joke me and my brother made. And that's another piece of advice. Not everything needs to be serious. Let yourself have fun. You're human, after all. Anyway, I digress. For years, especially towards the end of high school, all I did was scroll in bed. Hours a day. I'll admit it, I'm ashamed of it. Even though I was young, it was still time wasted, stuck in the most dangerous mindset. of them all. Comfort. Comfort feels safe, but it slowly steals your potential. Shortly after starting college, and after meeting my now girlfriend of 3 years, something changed. I escaped that mindset. I started producing music, and I loved it. I would sit down and make 5 or more beats a day. Hours would fly by. That was my first real taste of the natural dopamine hit that comes from creating something from scratch that you're proud of. Not consuming, creating. And now here I am, beginning my journey on this channel. If you made it this far, thank you. You're one of the first people to hear me out. Hopefully, you've learned a lesson or two. Maybe even felt something click. That's the purpose of this channel, to spark something in you, to help you think differently, to remind you that you are human and not just a mindless machine, consuming and working endlessly. If you found value in this video, all I ask from you is to like and maybe even leave a comment of what topics you would like me to talk about next. Thanks for watching again, and hopefully I see you in the next video.